Okay, so let's look at our examples for factoring quadratics. Remember, quadratics have the term x squared, and then so it's ax squared plus bx plus c. All right, so the first thing we always want to do is step one is we look for a GCF. And in this case, there is none. Okay, so it's not applicable here. All right, now I'm going to come back over here, and I'm going to teach you to factor these all the same way. So every quadratic you see, you can factor the same way. There are other ways to do this, and you might have learned other ways to do this. So I'm going to write down A, B, and C. All right, so the first thing you're going to do is you're going to do A times C, which is 1 times negative 14, which is negative 14. So that's step one. Okay. Now we're going to look for the second thing is we want factors of A times C, that add to B. Okay, in our case, AC in our case is equal to negative 14. B in our case is equal to 5. So what are factors of negative 14 that add to 5? Well, that's positive 7, negative 2. Okay, 7 minus 2. So I'm going to come back over here and I'm going to rewrite this. Because I know 7 minus 2 is equal to 5, I also know that 7x minus 2x is equal to 5. So note that 5x is the same thing as 7x minus 2x. Now, this looks like a factor by grouping. Okay, so our third step was to write as a grouping problem. And so we did that step up there. And then our fourth step, since it's a grouping problem, we can now just factor by grouping, which we have already covered and you should be able to do. Some of these will be very basic grouping problems. This particular one, okay, I've got x squared plus 7x, and I've got negative 2x minus 14. So if I go here, my GCF of those is x. And if I go over here, my GCF is equal to negative 2. So if I pull an x out of both pieces of the original, I'm left with x plus 7. And if I pull a negative 2 out of both pieces of that original, negative 2x divided by negative 2, right, divide that by negative 2, divide that by negative 2, you get x plus 7. And now I have common terms. So I can pull those out, and I get x plus 7 times x minus 2. Okay, so that will work every time. It's a process. Now, the basic ones that we just covered here can go a little bit differently. All right? When a is equal to 1, okay, so this is a special case that you can either do it this way or not. The previous way I showed you will work every time. Our special case, a equals 1. Okay, if a equals 1, we want factors of C that add to B. Okay, so let's look at our particular problem. Our particular problem was x squared plus 5x minus 14. Factors of negative 14 that add to 5, or 7 minus 2. So I can write it as x plus 7, x minus 2. Now the only reason this works, it's the same thing I got before, okay? This works because if we FOIL, so in other words, to check, we FOIL, okay? So, first, x squared, outside, negative 2x, inside, 7x, last, negative 14. Combine those, you get 5x. So that is indeed x squared plus 5x minus 14. Okay, so we're going to do I got 3 more examples to do. I'll do those in the next video.